Well, hello everybody. Here we are here on the presentation of how to create a coloring book in an hour with Ms. Debbie Drum, the queen of self-publishing, as we titled her the other day, right?
I guess so. I'm the queen. Yeah, I'll be the queen bee, right? Um, no, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited for this special workshop that we have tonight because Lena is actually a queen in her own right as well, and she creates so many great things um, in our publishing world, our self-publishing world, and she's got another amazing um, tool and system to show us tonight. So let us get started and get into create a coloring book in an hour. And welcome, Lena. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me here. I'm really, really excited about this presentation. I'm seeing a lot of people in the questions box. Where's everybody here from? Just put like where you're from here in the box. Wow, all over. Like the first handful was like all the way on the other side of the world. Norway, Finland, Vancouver Island, Canada. Oh, Vancouver came up several times. Madrid, Spain. There's Vancouver again, a lot of Vancouvers. Australia. And then we have Arkansas, Pittsburgh, Colorado, a bunch of people from Colorado, Manchester, United Kingdom. Well, welcome everybody here. Uh, to our special presentation of how to create a coloring book in an hour. I love seeing all the people here from literally all over the world on these presentations, and I want to thank you all for joining us. So, wonderful. Today, I'm here to show you how to create a coloring book in an hour. Now, most people will think that creating a coloring book in that time frame sounds amazing or perhaps even unbelievable. However, once you hear this presentation, you're going to be inspired and ready to take it on because I'm going to show you that with a little bit of planning and know-how, you're going to be able to do it, and you can do it tonight. Now, there's a few different ways that I'm going to be showing you how you can do it. So I would like for you to record your own version of this webinar so that you can go back and reference some of the things that I will be showing you on how you can go through the process manually. I'll be showing you two different processes, one where you can do it with probably common software that you already have on your computer. Um, and we're going to go over a solid process on how to do it, including the specific steps that you can take to realistically go through the technical aspects of it and produce books that are quality, not garbage content, and how you can do it effectively. I'm going to show you how to create a coloring book with software you likely already have on hand, such as OpenOffice or Microsoft Word. And if you're using Microsoft Word, the process takes a little bit longer. It takes about 4 hours or so if you are using the commonly used software that you likely already have on your computer at home. But once you know the blueprint and you understand the process, I'm going to sell you something that is so freaking cool. It'll take that 4-hour process and break it down to an hour. So yes, in an hour, you can have a coloring book totally written, totally edited, and totally ready, file ready to go to Amazon. This is a very different piece of software, something like you've never seen before, and it's so insanely powerful, you are going to love it. So, my name is Lena, as you already know, and I'm going to tell you in 3 minutes or less a little bit about who I am. I am a writer, a coder, also a developer. I make and design software, and that is how I have these nifty tools that I'm getting ready to show you here today. I'm a designer. I've won tons of awards and contests on 99 designs, including 4 designs I've created for Esquire magazine and freecreditscore.com. I am a marketer, a singer. I went to DePaul, and I'm from Chicago. Um, I also have a special needs daughter. I and I was once homeless and penniless, and a mother to a special needs girl on an amazing journey through modern medical science. She's 6 and has had over 25 surgeries. We just got through a surgery about 6 weeks ago, and that's me in a nutshell. My first writing credit you may have heard of if you're familiar with pop culture in the 1990s. You may remember Beanie Babies. All those little poems that were inside the tag, I wrote the first 137 poems inside the tags. In fact, it was my idea to even put poems and birthdays inside the tags. So I orchestrated the world's first internet sensation. The entire web strategy around Beanie Babies was something I did before the internet was something that was even common, back when people didn't even know what the internet was. It was just something that was played around with on college when the internet was only available in computer labs. So we've come a long way since then, and some of you may remember when you had to actually drive somewhere to use the internet, like the library. Do any of you remember that, driving to the library to use the internet? Anyone out here that's old school? Yep. See a bunch of yeses coming in. So that's my little 2-cent background on who I am. I've done quite a few things in life, and as you follow my teachings and learn more about the amazing journey that and the unique life experiences that I've had that shape pretty much everything that I do. So now let's move on to what we are here to learn. To make a coloring book from scratch, there are a few things that we need to have lined up. But first, I want to just share with you coloring books. Adult coloring books are the hottest trend of the year. As many of you know, Debbie and I, we were together at the Book Expo, and what we learned is that at the Book Expo, coloring books have accounted for 1/3 of all print book sales so far this year. And it's hotter than romance, hotter than self-help. This is the hottest trend in publishing right now. And if you are not tapping into it, you are basically leaving money on the table. There's no reason why any of us who have these great visionary ideas shouldn't put a coloring book together. And a lot of times I thought of why I would create a coloring book. And there's so many different ways that you can augment what you're already doing by creating coloring books that go with the overall message of what you as an author are putting out there through your publishing. Like, for example, if you have a line of self-help books that relate to meditation, coloring books fit right into that because the messages that you convey in your books could be incorporated into your coloring book pieces. So now that we kind of understand how hot coloring books are, and we know that all of us should be tapping into this hot market, let's take a look at what we need to have lined up in order to make a coloring book. The first thing that we need is artwork. Now, if you are creating a coloring book from scratch, the most common thing that people will do is buy a pack of PLR, or maybe they might have a collection of artwork that they already have created on their computer. And this is for the background of your page, so that you can create a pattern that people can color into underneath the words that you put together. And you're going to see what I mean here when I show you how to put this together in Microsoft Word. You will also need to have a concept, and this is something that you can do before you actually put your ideas to work. So what is your concept? What is the theme for the book that you are putting together? For me, and the demo that I'm going to show you, we're just going to make a book that's about love. So the words that are going to be in our book can be different quotes about love, or things of that nature. So come up with a concept. If you are using quotes, or you are using any type of sayings or words that relate to whatever your concept is, it's a good idea to write them all down and get them in either a notebook or a notepad file on your phone, or in a file on your computer, so that you can figure out what each page is going to include. The next thing that you will need is a word processor. If you do not have a word processor already on your computer, there are free options such as OpenOffice. So you can just go on the internet and search for OpenOffice. There's a download link where you can download it. It's pretty easy to install. The website itself gives you some instructions on how you can put that together, get that on your computer. So before you start this process, make sure that you have a word processor on your computer. Then after that, you're ready to put it all together. Once you have these items, this following demo is going to show you how to put it all together. So let's get ready let me show that to you right now. I am going to pull up Microsoft Word here. That's what I'm using to put this together. Now, as you can see, this is just a blank file, 8.5 by 11. And the first thing that you will do is set up the size of your document. So I'm going to do the 8 by 10. You go over here to page layout and you'll see a section here called size. You'll just go over here and there's paper sizes right here, and we can just set the size ourselves. So I'm going to do 8 by 10. And then the page is now automatically formatted to 8 by 10. The second thing that you'll have to do is update your margins. So you can see right here that I have a 1-inch margin on each side. For my coloring book, I want to have a much thinner margin. So I'm going to go over here, click on margins, and this is under page layout, and then go to custom margins right here, and I'm going to change the 1-inch to 0.25. So that's going to be a 1/4 inch on each side. And then it's going to give me an error saying that that on some sides it can't do a 1/4 inch. It has to be a little bit wider. So I'm just going to say to automatically fix it. The bottom it's saying I have to do as a 1/2 inch, which that's fine. But you can see now my cursor has moved all the way up to the corner over here. Now, that we got the page laid out, the next thing that I'm going to do is now you can make your title page and your legal page and all of that. That's pretty standard, so I'm going to not necessarily go through that part of it. But what I usually recommend is having a title page, your legal page, which you can find a lot of templates for that on the internet, and then have an introduction that you can write to explain to people why you put this book together. And then you'll also have a conclusion at the end, just telling people that you hope that they enjoyed your book and that, you know, if they want to like you on Facebook, the links for that, the link to see more of your books, whether it's an Amazon link or your own website, as well as following you on Twitter and your social media and all of that. So those are all things that you could just type out in the word processor however you want. What I'm going to focus on here is how to create the actual pages related to, you know, the artwork, the art pages. So the first thing we will need to do is bring our artwork in. So as I had said, we would have some of our artwork. So I have some PLR over here, and I'm going to basically drag it onto my Word page. So I'm taking the folder and I'm dragging it over here. Once I drag it over there, it automatically puts it in. It looks like my artwork is a little bit thinner than what the page allows for. And sometimes that'll happen with PLR, especially if you are doing different sizes. But it's not really a big deal because with patterns, you can expand it. And since it's just a pattern, usually it's not as noticeable. You can see right here, I just stretched it to the end by taking the little, you'll see that once you put the image in, there's these little boxes on each side of the image. There's 1, 2, 3 on the top, 2 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. So the corners will stretch it proportionately, and then the ones on the sides on the top will stretch it. So that's basically what I did is I just clicked here and stretched it. So now you can see that I have a blank page with the pattern in here. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to build a shape in the middle of my page that will have my quote in it. Now, to build shapes, you would go over here to Insert, and then there is a section here that's called Shapes. So when you click the down arrow, you'll see that there's a lot of different types of shapes, a whole bunch of different variety of shapes, and you can kind of play around to see which one you might like. There's a diamond shape, triangles, um, parallelograms, rhombus. So now my geometry is being put to the test to see what arrows, hearts. So I'm just going to use a rectangle just for demonstration. There's also a circle here, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to just draw a rectangle. I'm going to pick where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it kind of here on the top, and we can put it just right here in the middle. And now I have a rectangle right in the middle. Now I want to put an outline around that so that my white rectangle has a black outline. And once you put it on, if you want to move it, you can see that there's a little plus sign with the arrows on it. So we can move it down if we want, just to kind of get it in the right positioning that we want to have it in. And again, it has those little hooks so that you can actually stretch it out if you want, but I don't necessarily want to stretch it out. So the outline, you can right over here in the same area, once you put your shape in, there will be a tab that you go to called Format, and under Format there is an option called Shape Outline. And we're going to go to Shape Outline, and we are going to pick the color of our outline. Most likely you're going to pick black because all the lines are usually black in coloring books. And then we're going to pick the weight. The weight of our line is how thick the line is. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 4.5. And now you can see that my rectangle has a shape. Now I could have made the shape anything. I could have made it, with rounded corners or a circle, but I just made it a square just for demonstration purposes. The next step is I'm going to click off of that shape because I want to create now a new shape. I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to go to a text box, and I want to create what they call a simple text box. Microsoft Word has some simple text boxes already created. And then I'm going to put it on top of my shape right there, and I'm going to stretch it over to where I want the text. Now I can write in what I want this to say. So I'm going to write, "Love makes the world go around." Now I'm going to show you some shortcuts. Shortcuts make using a word processor much easier. While you're in the text box, if you hit Control A, that will highlight all your words right here. Then we're going to click on Home and pick our font. And we're going to change our font, and I had one here. Yeah, I was using the Hobo font. Now, if you hit Control right bracket, which is the right square bracket, you'll see every time you hit that right bracket while you're hitting Control, the text will just get bigger and bigger. I'm going to make it about that size. And then if I want to center the text, I can hit Control E as in Edward, and that's going to center my text. You can also pick the size of your font on this drop-down box, but I find that it's easier to hit the Control right bracket because then you could see the text get bigger as you're going and then decide, like what size you want it at. Because I don't know by looking at this that I wanted it to be at a 39 point size until I actually saw it. So now if you wanted to move your text box down a little, once you click on your text box, you could click on the actual box of your text box and until you see these little boxes here and hit the down arrow to kind of position it how you want to position it. And then there we go. We have one page. Everybody follow along with that? Do you think that if you have the recording to this that you can replicate it at home? Yes, wonderful. Now, the shortcut now to create a new page is that you put your cursor here at the end, and you can kind of see my cursor is flashing right over here on the screen at the end of my artwork. Hit on your computer, Control Enter, and then you'll see now I have an extra page. I have a couple pages. So once you have all your pages created, depending on how many pages you have in the beginning, how long your introduction is, how many title pages you have, you'll have to kind of count to make sure that your artwork is falling on the right side of the page. So always remember that your title page is going to be on the right side. So you should have, prior to the first artwork page, you should have an odd number of pages. If you don't have an odd number of pages, then add an empty page, add a blank page. So you should either have 3 pages or 5 pages, etc., before the first artwork page. Then you can go ahead and just basically repeat the process. Now, let's go back over here. Now what I want to do is show you how you could do this exact same process in roughly an hour. So let me bring up this screen right here. This is Color Master. Now what Color Master does is it will take what I just showed you how to do in Microsoft Word or Open Office, and it's going to automate that so that all of those manual steps that I demonstrated and showed you will be done automatically through the software. And I'm going to show you real quick just how easy it works. So the first thing that it does when you log into Color Master, it will have an option here where it'll tell you to expand it, and it asks you to just set up your file similar to how we went into page layout, selected our size, changed our margins, etc. Except over here it's asking us, do we want our coloring book to be single-sided or double-sided? The size of our book, do we want it, and we'll just choose 8 by 10. Do you want to have the same font throughout the book, or do you want to mix it up and have random fonts selected? Which, you can go back and you can change the fonts in the software, but just for the starting point, it will randomly pick a font for you. And then each one will have tips over here. So this one is asking you, do you want your pattern to be an outline pattern or a skeleton pattern? Outline patterns are easier to color and they take less time to color. Skeleton patterns, as you could see, there's more shapes to color. Or you could just mix it up and have each page be different. Choose the size that you want your patterns to be. Do you want your patterns to render small or large? Or you can mix it up. I'm going to say let's mix it up. Choose the theme that you want your book to be created in. Right now there's only one theme, so we'll just pick the basic. And then, we can just say this is a test project. Or actually, I have a project here that can kind of show. Here, let's kind of just go through. Then the next thing that it's going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you to put in, these are the different fonts that you can choose from. It's going to ask you to put in, to lay out the text that goes on each page. And if you want to select a font, you can, otherwise it'll just randomly select your font for you. So say, we were doing our love-based book. Let's just say, we have love. Oh, I actually had a love is patient. I already had kind of some in here. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. Love is not selfish. And then this says, love is not easily angered and keeps no delight in evil. Love rejoices in truth. Love always protects. Love always trusts. Love always hopes. Love always preserves. And then I can go through and pick what font I want for each phrase. I'm just going to randomly pick the font that I want. And you could see, you'll have an opportunity to change it if you don't like the way that it looks once the page comes up. If you want to add another page, we can add another page, but we'll just go ahead and keep that as is for right now. And then what it's going to do is it's going to then generate your pages so that you can preview your pages one at a time and then make tweaks to it as it comes up, because a lot of the settings that we put in the beginning was to just randomize it. So it's just going to randomly generate a page for us. So this is what it randomly generated. So I don't really like that font, so I'm going to go ahead and change that font maybe to font number 2. And then it'll also let me change the size of the font or change my pattern. So let's go ahead and change the pattern and see what happens there. And it just lets you play with it. And this software then now, you don't have to worry about collecting artwork or buying PLR artwork. I saw a question came through on what is PLR artwork. PLR is a public license that will allow you to use whatever it is that you're buying, whatever content or artwork that you're buying. It allows you to buy it and repurpose it however you want to without having to pay royalties to the artist that created it. Okay, so now this is the pattern that it came up with, and then the font. I want to make the font bigger, so I'm going to go over here and change the font size. Let's see, let's try 250, 300, patient, maybe just make that 200, see how that looks. That's looking better. And we can just tweak it. Just keep going. I could probably make this font bigger, make this font bigger, make that a little bit bigger. I can also, if I don't like how the pattern is all filled in like that, then I can go ahead and unfill it. So let's see what that looks like. And then let's also make these fonts a little bit bigger. So we'll make this 350, 400. So then this is the pattern without it filled in. It just made it so that you have to color each of the lines in. I could probably make patient a little bit bigger and I can play with it. And that's basically how it's made. I'm going to bring up over here, this is a book that I made. You can kind of see at a glance after I went through and spent a little bit of time playing with the settings. You can see just a little bit of what my pages look like for a book that I created. I'll just pull up just one of these randomly so you can see what it looks like. This is after I went through and played with it and tweaked all the settings. And let's pull that up here. And there we go. You can kind of see I have the pattern at the size that I want it, because it lets you change the size of the pattern too. So this is at small. If I wanted to make this pattern bigger, I can make it bigger all the way up to extra large, so that the coloring of the filling in of the while you're coloring is not as intricate. So for this particular book, I mixed it up to make some of them intricate and some of them a little bit easier. The nice thing about this software is then the next thing that you can do is you can go into the writing tool, or the formatting tool, which will then allow you to write your introduction and your conclusion and edit your legal pages all right within the software. So I'm going to show you the screen that comes up for that. This is our test software, or our test page. Well, let me go to one that actually I already had set up, since we didn't really actually create all those pages. Now you can see over here, it asks me to put in my title, subtitle if I have one, the author's name, the legal page. There's a template that's already in here and you can edit it to fit whatever you want to say. Basically change your author's name or your company name and the link that you want to go to. You can make an introduction or a dedication to the book, and then you can go through and review your artwork, change the name of the page of your artwork if you want to, and then go through. It'll ask you to create your table of contents. Once you create your table of contents, it'll just ask you to name each piece of artwork so that it'll just kind of give a title to it in a table of contents, or you could just eliminate the table of contents altogether. Then once you submit that, it'll give you a page that will tell you that your files are ready, and it'll allow you can either download it or you can preview it. So let's just take a preview over here. So this is the inside of our book where we can see that the legal page is already set up. This is my introduction page. This is my table of contents. I had edited the, the titles for each of my images. And then I have my artwork. And it goes through like that. Oh, and then load the whole thing. So you can see there's 30 pages altogether. And again, if you see something that you want to change, then all you have to do is go back into the software, find the page that the software was on, or that you want to make the adjustments to, and you can either update the text right here, or you can add a subtitle or a subtext to it. Like you could see over here, the smaller text that I have, it automatically places it in the right position. And then I can change the patterns, the font size as well. Okay, so that basically is the way that the software works. Can you guys see the power that the software would have in the process that I've shared with you? I mean, how many of you guys can use this to create a book right now, today or tonight? Something you've always wanted to put together and write about, but just didn't have the time. So go ahead and put a 1 in the box if that's something that you feel that you can use right now. Got a bunch of 1s coming in. Excellent. So that's awesome. And keep in mind that this is not only great for books that you've always wanted to write forever and ever and never found the time, but also opportunistic books, like topics that are hot right now. Like, for example, how about coloring books that are inspired by the election or anything else that's trending right now? Imagine as soon as something is hot, within hours, you can create a coloring book about it and get it up on Amazon that fast. That is the power of having a tool like this in your tool shed, because it all boils down to the fact that people who can assemble books faster will make money faster. It's just how our information age works. And this software allows you to create books faster. I see a lot of questions coming in, so I will go through your questions here in just a moment. But first I want to ask you what you think. Did I deliver what I promised you? Just a bit ago when we all came together on this webinar, I made you all a promise that I would show you exactly how you can feasibly write a coloring book, create a coloring book without breaking yourself. I gave you a blueprint. Did I lay out all the steps and tell you what supplies you need and exactly what to do step by step? Did I speed up the process and show you how you can prepare and exactly what you need to use and how you can use it? And did I show you some really insane software that just makes you say, wow, I really can do this and I could do it today? Did we accomplish that? Put a 1 in the box so that I could just see at a glance if we accomplished that today. Excellent. I see a lot of 1s coming in, so thank you. So it all boils down to the fork in the road. You have 2 choices at this point. You can go ahead and take what I have taught you. Find the software that you have on your computer, or find a free tool such as OpenOffice, and go ahead and make your coloring book. It'll probably take you, I would say, about 4 hours using Microsoft Word the way that I showed you, finding it once you have all your patterns together, and you kind of have an idea in your mind of what your concept is. So go ahead and take an afternoon or an evening and put your book together. 4 hours is not really a whole lot of time. Or supercharge the whole endeavor with this amazing software that I showed you and get it all done in an hour. Let me just ask you a question. Which do you all like better, working 4 hours or working 1 hour to accomplish what you are trying to do? Just put either a 4 or a 1 in the box. Right. Everybody would rather work an hour. I mean, who wants to spend 4 hours on something that could take 1? That's insane. It's like mowing the lawn with scissors. Who wants to do that? Why would anyone mow their lawn with scissors when you can use a lawnmower in a fraction of the time? So let's look at your licenses and your options for getting a license to Color Master right now. So I have a bundle here that you can get, which will give you not only the software that I showed you here, what I demoed here. You would get immediate access to Color Master, what you saw exactly what I demoed, plus you will get 2 additional design themes which have not yet been released yet, but as soon as they are released, which will be by I think the date we had was August 10th, they will be additional design themes that will allow you to vary the design of the pages that you produce. You will automatically get that put into your software. You will also get a cover generator, which will allow you to create book covers efficiently and quickly for any kind of book, and you will get themes to the cover generator that are specifically designed for adult coloring books. So it will allow you to create adult coloring book covers easily and efficiently. And you can get all that for $197. It's 2 different pieces of software that you're going to get, as well as the upgrades to both of the softwares to allow you to create coloring books easily, because from what I showed you right here, you can create the inside of the book, then you're going to end up needing to create a cover. There's a lot of options for creating a cover, and my software can make that, streamline that process for you so that you can create that book cover easily with themes that I have specifically designed for coloring books. So to pick up your copy of Color Master as well as the eCover generator in this bundle, all you have to do is go to ddsnip.com/color. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box here. Okay. Now, for those of you that have maybe followed some of my software, I have a special bundle that I put together of not just Color Master, but a few other pieces of software that you can add on to this package at a really low price. So let me show that to you as well, and that's available on that same page. You will get not just Color Master and all the software that you get with the Color Master bundle, which includes the cover generator as well as Color Master and the added themes. You will also get Picture Master. Picture Master works very similar to Color Master, but it allows you to create picture books. Picture books are great books to create, very easy books to create. If you do a search on Amazon right now, you'll see one of my picture books that I created in literally less than an hour. Well, not counting the time it took me to actually take the pictures, but once I had the pictures together, Picture Master allowed me to organize it and put it into a book form. You could do a search on Sunsets of Beaver Dam. Beaver Dam is the name of the town that I live in. Beaver, B-E-A-V-E-R, Dam, D-A-M. Sunsets of Beaver Dam, and you could see a picture book that I made that took literally about an hour. On top of that, you will also get the CreateSpace plugin. The CreateSpace plugin allows you to make not only picture books for Kindle, but also physical picture books. Then you will also get MetaMaster. MetaMaster is a typography book that will allow you to create books that just have an artistic flair of writing that you can create by answering a bunch of questions that would be based on any metaphor. Like, for example, why mothers are like flowers, or why children are like rainbows. You just have to come up with a metaphor, and then MetaMaster will walk you through creating an artistic book with artistic words that will come together to create a book as well. And you can add both of those to Color Master for the $297 bundle price. Now, I want to go ahead and answer some of the questions. I saw a lot of questions coming in.
Hey, Lena.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I am really blown away to
I wasn't
watch
sure
you.
when you came back or not. I remember that you had kind of walked away, so I was like, oh, so I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm definitely here. That was awesome. And I love that, you can take something and make it like what I stressed on the emails to the folks that came on, that you can really make unique books, and it's really open to your creativity, and it just is so like plug and play, so you don't need to mess around with getting everything together. You can just, everything is built into the software, which is nice, and you've done kind of all the hard work and people can just kind of just go in there, put in whatever text they want to, and make it their own. So well done. I really love this tool.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was actually a lot of work that went into it, just kind of figuring out how it could all, how it can all work effectively. So there was a lot that went into making the software, and I basically what I did is I took the process that I showed everyone that I did manually when I showed you all how in Microsoft Word you put the pattern in, and then you put the shape in, and then you put the text in. I basically just tried to figure out how to do that effectively and automatically. So just kind of reverse engineered the process. And it got kind of complicated and frustrating, but I'm glad that it finally came together. Um, we have a bunch of questions coming, and I'm going to kind of go through here. Someone asked if there is coloring books for Kindle. Um, well, coloring books generally you color physically, so I don't think you would necessarily make coloring books for Kindle because on a device you can't color, right? Because you'd be coloring your screen, right?
Yeah, and there's no option to use color on Kindle.
Right.
Not,
Not
not yet.
not yet. I was just about to say not yet. Does Color Master include pictures that we can use for free? Yes, it comes with all the patterns. There's about 300 different variations of patterns that you can kind of tweak and pick through. So if you don't like the one that it comes up with, you just ask to look at another one or another one or another one. And then you can also make the patterns bigger or smaller, take the outlines off, and it varies. So the same pattern can have multiple variations as well. Um,
Can you add your own images?
Yeah, I saw that as well. And I actually, that's one of the most commonly asked requests that I have in the software. You could see that if I go over here to the changelog, we've actually added a lot of features since Color Master first came out. And I kind of record all the ones that came out. We actually are working on one where you can create your own library of background images that you can put into Color Master. It's not yet released, but that's probably something that's about within 30 days it should be available. Um, and just in the last 30 days, you could see there's a lot of different updates that have been added. We, made bunch of different modifications to the way the table of contents works. We added more options for editing on the page, and all of that came from people asking, you know, because we're very receptive to requests that people make for our software, and we record all of the requests that have been made so that when I sit down to develop, I can see how much a certain request is being made, and by far everybody is asking to update their images, so that is something that is being worked on. So I would say about within the next 30 days that should be in.
That's really cool. And I missed what you said. You said that you were going to be adding more. Did you say that? That you,
More patterns, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, we're constantly adding new patterns into the system, so the ones that are in there, there's constantly new ones being added. Just add more. Oh, someone got in a little argument. So yeah, there will be new there are new patterns being added consistently. Um, how would this work for coloring pages that include animals or landscape pictures? The new themes that we are adding into Color Master will have a library of different symbols that you can incorporate into the panel, into the pattern, such as flowers, hearts, birds, dogs, cats, paw prints, shoes, different things like that. There's going to be a whole array of symbols that you can incorporate into your pattern. So that's being worked on as well, and that's part of a theme that you would have. If you get the bundle package, you'll automatically get the two next themes that are coming in, and that will allow you to have different patterns and symbols that you can incorporate into your artwork. Let's see what other
Yeah,
questions you have
and
here.
these can be as easy as just putting like one word inside of your book. Like, sure, you can do, you know, proverbs, you can do quotes, things like that, and all those are also available in the public domain as well. So you don't even have to think of the content if you didn't want to. But I seen, not to give anyone some like, you know, ideas, but I've seen like coloring books of curse words, and you could even go as far as like do like really really niching it out, like curse. Not that I'm saying to do a curse one, but like just an example, um, curse words that nurses use or curse words that teachers use, whatever, right? Um, yeah, so I mean, it doesn't even have to be something that you're spending a whole ton of time on, and it could be funny too. And people, because think about like the reason why people are coloring these books in the first place, right? A lot of times they're like venting, they're doing it to feel good, they're doing it to relax. And if you can make someone smile at the same time and make someone feel good or make someone encourage someone, like that's the whole point of these types of books. So it's not very hard to, you know, just put them together like that. So.
Right, exactly. So you could see I kind of started playing with this one just while you were talking. I'm going to make patient a little bit smaller. But just so you know, it just takes a few minutes to kind of tweak it to be the way that you want it to look. Make that a little bit smaller. Let me look at what other questions. Does it run on PC or Mac? It's actually web-based, so it will work on any platform. As long as you have access to the internet, you will be able to use it. The final files that come out also is a PDF. Someone was asking if once the PDF files are generated, if you can edit it. There's a lot of different programs out there that will allow you to edit PDF files, and yes, you could definitely take this file, for example, and if I wanted to edit it myself, I can bring it into an editor and add different pictures or patterns, you know, add to the patterns manually if I wanted to. So definitely you could do that because this file that comes out of it is a PDF file, which is pretty versatile and can be edited in most graphic programs. And that's the same file that you would upload into Amazon. Someone's asking, how do you go from 3 words to a page in to the text into different pages? If it's more than 3 words, then it's going to format it similar to how you see on my screen here. If it's, say you only put 1 word in there, then it's going to automatically center your word on the page right over here. It'll automatically put it in the middle. If it's 2, it'll automatically put the 2 in there. Um, Someone is asking about the DPI on illustrations, if we ever had trouble with the illustrations when uploading the books. From what I remember, because this book right here, I actually did publish it, and if I recall correctly, I did not get a DPI error, but I did get a error of the margin saying that my artwork was expanding into an unusable margin or something. I was getting a margin error, but then when I looked at the artwork, I didn't even notice what what the error was for. So I just went ahead and approved it. The nice thing with patterns, if you're using your own patterns and you're not sure if your patterns are 300 DPI or 200 DPI, generally for coloring books, you don't really need to have that really high quality, picture quality dots. DPI stands for dots per inch. I just saw someone ask that. You don't really need that high quality resolution because it's patterns uh, as opposed to a picture of something. So for coloring books, you probably don't really need to worry about the DPI errors as much. But to answer your question, that was from Eli. From what I remember when I published my book, I did not get the DPI error. Um, A lot of people are asking if images can be imported. Again, that's a feature that we're working on that will be added. All of my software I continually update, and you'll see if you get my bundle, all of them have a change log that document all the changes that I'm making to the software. And you can see on Color Master specifically, I've made a lot of updates just in the last 30 days based off of requests that people make.
And I'm assuming every time you update and add stuff, people will just get that included, right? They're not going to have to purchase anything
Yeah,
in
that's
additional.
yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, you just end up getting it for free, and you just look at the change log and you can see what's new.
Yeah, and another thing about the kind of books that the software creates is it is different than just the regular coloring books that you're seeing, because a lot of the coloring books are just patterns, but these can be themed as well, which as I just mentioned, think about people are coloring. They're doing it for fun, they're doing it for relaxation, and if they could be entertained at the same time, that's where you know it's just better and different than regular patterns that people are just coloring in.
Yeah, that was one thing when I was making the software. I don't necessarily like making software that's just going to produce books that don't really have a point to them. So I was trying to figure out how to create a software to create coloring books that would have meaning, and this was sort of what I came up with, so that the books that are created, it kind of forces you to create books that are meaningful because you have to come up with a theme, you have to come up with the words that you're going to put on the page, at least 1 word on a page, even if it's sort of Debbie's idea of cuss words, it's at least some sort of theme that goes into the book. And that this was what I came up with to create a book that has meaning.
Awesome. And okay, so we have, does Amazon print books? Yes, Amazon owns an arm of what's called CreateSpace, and that's the platform that prints physical things, and one of the things is books. Another thing that they print is CDs, but most people like us, we use it for books, and it's really easy to publish on CreateSpace. Very WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, and it's a very low barrier to entry, so you don't have to like pay anything to publish your book. They're just pretty much taking the royalties when you sell your book. So a lot of times, especially if you're creating these black and white books, they're going to be very cheap to produce. And so like if it costs like $3 to produce and you charge, $7 or $8 or $7.99, whatever it is, you can play around with the prices and look at the marketplace, look at what other people are charging. Then you can, you obviously have that room for profit. So,
Yeah, someone was asking how do you price your books. When I've bought books at the store, coloring books, they range from like the ones that are just basic, very simple patterns, like, what Debbie was sort of referencing, that was just a bunch of like PLR looking artwork that was just thrown into a book, no words or anything. Those books I've seen for about $6, and then I've seen the artwork, with the artwork, the more intricate the artwork is, going all the way up to about $16 to $17. So the ones that I've created with this software, I've priced it like the $8 and $9 range. That's just what I have done. It's not necessarily what's right or wrong. So you can kind of experiment based on what the theme of your book is. Obviously, some themes may be more popular than others, and you can price them accordingly. There's some questions also that came up which I just want to answer very quickly. Someone was asking, when you come up with a pattern in the book, how do you change it? There is an option here, right here, change my pattern, and when you click that, it will automatically change your pattern up, and you can just keep clicking change my pattern and it will bring up a fresh pattern. And then again, you can also change the size of it as well as the style of whether you want the outline or the shadow or skeleton pattern within the same pattern that comes up. And then someone had asked, how do you go from 3 words to a page to the text in frames? That was from Patricia. It does it automatically. So if you have 3 words, it'll automatically format it for 3 words. If you put in 2 words, it'll automatically format it. That's kind of the nice thing about using the software as opposed to doing it manually. Manually, I'll show you here, I would have to, change and move the boxes around, move the fonts around, change the font sizes, etc. The software does it all automatically. Someone was asking if this is a membership. No, it's not a membership. Your one-time cost gets you a license to use the software as often as you want, as many times as you want. It also comes with the next 2 themes that are going to be released for Color Master. When new themes come out after you already have 3 themes to choose from, it will be up to you if you want to purchase them or not. You might not need them. You might want them. It's up to you. But they are on an as-needed basis. It's not a membership or a monthly cost at all.
and somebody's asking where's the link. It's actually in the chat box right now.
Oh,
It's
and on the
DD's.
screen.
I'm going to actually retype that because I don't usually use www. I don't know if that's...
Oh,
All right. Yeah, so it's ddsnip.com/color.
oops. Did I just do it again?
All right, so yeah, the link is right there in the chat, ddsnip.com/color, to take advantage of this awesome tool here.
Someone was asking how many pages should a coloring book have? In order to meet the minimum requirements that Amazon would impose on you just for the minimum number of pages that a book should have, you should strive to have 12 artwork pages, and then that would be assuming that you would have also an introduction page and a conclusion page as well as your legal page, and that will allow you to have the enough to meet the minimum requirements, so about 12 pages. 12 artwork pages, I mean. Okay, great. So, Debbie, do you have a time frame that you want to keep this offer open by?
Yeah, let's do it for Sunday.
Okay. All right, I will
Sunday
add that on there.
at 11:59 p.m. Eastern.
Um, Patricia was asking, how do you add the frame around the words? Is it automatic in the software? Yes, it's automatic in the software. It'll automatically do that for you. Oh, Gary says he already has a software and he created 4 books.
Nice. Amazing.
Is larger, simpler artwork available for older kids coloring book? All you would have to do in the software is take your artwork and choose the extra large option, and the extra large right here, because this right here is small. You can make it extra large. I'll show you what that looks like. Or actually, I think I could do that on this one. Yeah, that's basically, I think this one was extra large. You could see that's extra large, and I could change the pattern so you could see a different pattern that does the same thing. But this is about the largest size that it comes to. Okay, great. We actually went a little bit over on time. Debbie, sorry about that.
No problem.
Just trying to address everyone's questions. But here is another one that came up at the extra large size.
Well, this is really cool, and it's very easy to use, and it's very customizable, and that's I love seeing innovative things like this, but not only innovative, but something that makes our life as publishers very, very easy, and it gets us, as Lena said, creating books really fast, which means that it's creating um, additional passive income sources, right? So that is what is important here. What I can do too is if anybody purchases and they need some additional help with the create space, because I see a lot of questions here on actually like printing the book. So I'm wondering if I can probably put something together for you that helps you with the actual printing part of this so that you can create the book with this tool and not be confused about how to actually print the book and get it printed and get it uploaded onto Amazon, things like that. Would anybody be interested in that addition or having that option, an extra training? Okay, great. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of people. So yes, so obviously make sure that you'll get that as a bonus from me if you go ahead and purchase at ddsnip.com/color, and we can make that happen. Absolutely.
Great.
All right, great. Well, any parting words of wisdom that you can leave us with, Lena?
Just be creative and have fun with it. I find that the books that I create that I have fun with and I'm not so absorbed into the mechanics of it as much as I am the content and what it is going to mean to the people that is going to benefit or buy my book, I find that those are like my most successful books. So just really try to get in the minds of the people that'll be buying your book and put things together that you think they will like.
Perfect. All righty. Well, thank you everyone who joined us live here and hung out with us for a little while, and thank you for getting us through the technical difficulties that we had in the beginning. So sometimes it happens, but if you're listening to the replay, then thanks for visiting as well, and thank you, Lena, for coming and giving us a great presentation on how to create books really quickly and getting closer to more passive income, more book sales. So we had a great time, and we'll see you on the next training.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.